It's time to check your money with America's Money Maven, Vicki Brackens. Vicki Brackens is the president of Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, and a registered representative of LPL Financial, member SIPC. Vicki, how are you doing this morning?
This morning, I'm doing very well, George, and I want to make sure I point out on my jacket something that's really important. Do you see that?
It says
You see those
vote.
words? It says vote. I want to
Vote.
make sure that because everyone around the country who's listening to us and those people who are here in Central New York, you need to vote. Make sure you get your voting plan, as they say together, that you've got your neighbors, your friends, and your
Okay.
relatives all ready to go.
As a matter of fact, I'm on a recurring shipment from my fraternity, and this
Yes.
month's shipment was vote on my paraphernalia that I got. So, and my daughters have, well, at least one of my daughters already requested her absentee ballot. And so
Good.
these are very, very important. You can just do it right online to your, if you're in your local community, go online to your Board of Elections, and you have up until the day of, as long as that envelope is postmarked by election day. I wouldn't wait till then, but
No,
as long
don't
as
wait until then.
don't wait till then,
You
but
know who
make
you're
sure.
going to vote for. Go vote.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, get your stuff in, and also take advantage of early voting as well. I know that
Correct.
and let me just do this real quick plug while we're
All right.
talking about this for the NAACP. They got a voter education registration drive, and they're looking for people to help to get out the vote.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, George, that was my first message. Second message is a little bit of a carryover from I kind of teased you last week and told you that I had done a presentation for Coming Back Together, which is the Black Alumni, which they had their, what is it, semi-annual event.
No, try it. Not even semi-annual. You're
Okay.
good. It's every 3 years. I don't know what you
Every
call
three
that.
years. I don't know how you call. I don't know what you call that, but every 3 year event. Okay, up here about a week ago,
Yeah.
and CBT Coming Back Together. I
At
had
Syracuse
changed
University, yes.
Syracuse University. I had changed to CBS, which is Come Back to Syracuse.
Mm.
But I didn't tell everyone when I spoke about that last week why I said come back to Syracuse. So this has to do a lot with the economy. The economy of Syracuse is in what I would call a rebirth. That level of rebirth is of a magnitude that's going to is being predicted to last anywhere from just the rebirthing process as far as economic growth and focus on economic growth due to the reshoring of the chip industry in this country, and this corridor being the focal point of that reshoring of the chip industry to last just in its building another 20 years. The billions of dollars that are being pumped into this economy to make sure that that happens is mind blowing. But in order for that to happen, we need to build capacity, particularly for Black and Brown businesses, because we have had, it's almost like we skipped an entire industrial revolution in this area, in this area of the country. So we need to have capacity building at the same time. Businesses around the country, Black and Brown businesses who are looking to go into joint ventures, who are open to partnerships in the tech industry and buildings trades and all types of areas, need to reach out to the city of Syracuse today. It's ironic, George. As I was making that plea, guess who walked into the room?
Mayor Walsh?
Deputy Mayor.
Deputy Mayor Sharon Owens.
Deputy McCain, right? It's coming back together. Who would walk into the room? Deputy Mayor Owens. Wasn't planned, but serendipity. She walked into the room and really laid out for everyone exactly what coming back to Syracuse means. So I'm going to say to those who are listening, either reach out to me or reach out to Deputy Mayor Owens if you to express an interest in taking advantage of and being part of the economic boom that's happening here in Syracuse, in the chip and manufacturing area, what they call intelligent or smart design manufacturing here in the local area. All right, George. Well, I'm always looking for how things connect together. If you recall, Some time ago, we had a segment and we talked about Social Security,
Mm-hmm.
gave some history concerning Social Security, talked about the fact that there are certain steps and stages that are more advantageous, that you need to understand those. One being the fact that if you took Social Security early at age 62, while it might feel good, you probably are giving away anywhere from 25 to 30% on your benefits, and that loss of benefit at 62 carries forward for the rest of your life. For most people now, based on the birth dates, 67 is the primary number now for full eligibility, which means you get all of your Social Security payments. And if you were smart enough and fortunate enough to be able to wait until age 70, then you're picking up 8% per year between your primary age of eligibility to age 70, which also gives you anywhere from a 24 to 25% increase in your benefit going forward. There's also talk about what's going to be necessary in order to sustain and maintain Social Security going forward. And I ask you to reach out to your elected officials, your congressmen, to ask that question, what their plan is. Well, I'm looking in the news the other day, and
Mm-hmm.
guess what I saw?
What did you see?
I saw that in China, they are extending and expanding the retirement age because their equivalent of what we would call Social Security is under stress, and they need to move the age out forward in order to maintain the benefits of their citizens going forward. Why would you think that happened, George?
Because people are living longer.
There it is. Across the world, the issue of mortality, the longer that we are living, is now starting to become a major issue in not even just industrial, in all countries across the world, because we are graying.
Mm-hmm.
We are graying and living longer. I told you once before, we're living longer broken. Before your steam started to break down, you just died. In fact, the article was pointing to the fact that in China, the mortality age was 40 when they set up their actual retirement system, which made a lot of sense that they set the retirement age at 55 and 50 and 55, 50 for women, 55 for men some years ago. Now they are expanding and extending it because of mortality, because now their mortality age is 70. We have the same thing happening here. An entire block of the population has shifted as far as our mortality number. Now I think it looks like something like 83, 84 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So it comes back to the conversation we had also last week. Twofold. One, preparing for a longer retirement as far as your savings is concerned. I gave you those numbers last week as far as what you should, and in fact, the last 2 weeks on a benchmark basis, what you should have put away in order to successfully have a retirement and not run out of money. And two, productivity. Productivity around the world is starting to be impacted by the fact that we have people retiring earlier than their mortality numbers dictate, and the level of workers in the workforce is dropping to a level that we're not being concerned with productivity. We are interconnected, is my point. All of the countries around the world, we all are people. We all have some of the same issues. We are interconnected because the issues of mortality, productivity, economic growth, which is what sustains all of our economies and all of our citizens, is being impacted by the fact that we are living longer and not replacing that workforce in the economies to produce the types of goods and services and revenue necessary to sustain the population. So you are going to hear more and more, George, about the need for extending or shifting the retirement age. In fact, you remember Greece some years ago, how the citizens were in the street because of the fact that they were extending, they had to, instead of retiring at 60, they were now saying 62. these types of conversations will continue to be had around the world, and we need to get prepared here locally, here within this country, to react to that mortality extension and save more and possibly think more seriously about working longer. All right, George, any questions?
Why do we need to think seriously about working longer? Oh, because that could happen, is what you're saying.
Right. Okay. We need to start thinking seriously about working longer in order to save more money, because we're going to be living a lot long. We're living longer, and we need those extra dollars in our kitties in order to sustain us through the longer working years.
I
Yes.
wanted you to clarify that point. Thank you.
Okay. All right, fine.
Because
So,
when it
and
just
that-
stopped right there, it was, well, living longer. What do you mean? So I'm glad you.
Okay.
And maybe it was just me. So if it was just me, it's okay.
It's okay. It's all right. Okay. That's what we're
You did
seeing,
ask me
right?
if I had questions. That was my
I
question.
did. Okay. Because I saw before I was closing, I saw this kind of twinkle in your eye, like, wait a minute, Vicki. You finish that. Okay.
And it was
All right.
it was the last word, but I think it's great advice to think about. And if you're at retirement age right now, it's something to think about. And if you're not at retirement age, it's something to think about. Some people just want to get out of whatever they're doing because they can, but that doesn't mean you can't pick up something else if you want to. So there you go.
Exactly. Okay. And so I'm not saying that, if you work the same job for 40 years and you've been with, I'm just using this example, the state of New York, it's time, and you're ready to do something new, fine. What I'm saying, though, is you need to continue to generate revenue longer.
Thank you.
Okay. Revenue longer than you may have anticipated. And if you need some ways of calculating that, reach out to us at area code 315-930-4499 or at info@Brackens, Brackens, FSN.com. And I'll say now for this week, George, our plate is full.
Vicki Brackens is the president of Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, and a registered representative of LPL Financial, member SIPC. She's America's Money Maven.